We ready for magic? I know I am. Always ready for magic. At least in here, right? Because that's what I feel like ultimately where I'd like to head is kind of like having a magic school, which is kind of like what I'm doing here. Because magic, right, lives in all of us. Magic is the stuff between the stuff, right? And as you approach it from like a spiritual place, you know, it really is all of the energy. We as humans are unaware of over 99% of what is actually happening around us because we are very limited in our human form in terms of being able to perceive only limited information. We can't see or understand the gamma rays, the microwaves, you know, even a lot of the light waves, right? So you have all these waves and, you know, rays and everything else that's going on around us that we're just ignorant to. Doesn't mean that they don't exist. Doesn't mean that they aren't serving a purpose. Doesn't mean that there isn't information there. What? Yeah. And there's so much that I'll be honest, in terms of magic, that I don't understand. And I'm a bit of a critical thinker when it comes to, approaching this world of magic, especially as I've been introduced to it through shamanism. But I kind of equate it to, you know, that old adage that you don't have to understand electricity to understand a light switch, right? On, off, right? Easy enough. Like, we get that and the lights come on. Hooray! But what if we took that and applied it to other areas of our life, especially around spirituality, because spirituality really does dig into that. Shamanism especially, that's why I love it so much. It is non-judgment. It is love. It is exploration of self. They don't tell me what to think. They ask me what is true for you. So when we get into the beginning work of magic, right? What do we do? What is that? How do we define that, right? Because I feel like that's very much some of the work that I'm doing here, right? Right? It's changing the vibration of the air around me. That's why drums and rattles are so important to us in shamanism. Because nothing changes the vibration around you like music. You understand that. You can't see it. It's just vibrational waves changing the energy of the room. But you can tap into that. You can leverage that. And you can stand in awe of that when it happens. Oh, I can't tell you so many times. I'm around these powerful people that just so inspire me. Yesterday I had the opportunity to go to Santa Monica and see this amazing facility. Just go to their website. You have to check this place out. It's called Into Me Sea, S-E-A, sea like the ocean. IntoMeSea.com. This place, I was like, okay, I've seen some stuff. I know what's going on. I know what they're doing in this world, whatever. But I get there and touring the place, they have these machines that are attuned to either sound and light vibrations that within you will give you the trip of LSD without taking any drugs, just by light and sound. I mean, it will put you into an altered state like you were if you were on drugs. Just through light and sound. And you can have these metaphysical experiences, right? And have new journeys with this to arrive at new understandings of yourself. Because whether it's in the imagination, or whether it's on another plane, or whether it's here, it's all serving to inform you of what's true for you. So, if you have an opportunity to see that, check out the. I really want to do a class there, and so we started talking about collaborating and doing things like that there. And I really hope I have the opportunity. But oh my gosh! And Martha, if you happen to see this, thank you so much for the tour yesterday. That was so special to me. But more than that, to see these things come into the mainstream is what gives me hope and energy, right? To see more and more people waking up and realizing that the energy behind things is important, especially the energy of us, of how we're vibrating, right? And what we hold within us. I feel like we've done some important work already so far. I hope you feel the same way. Otherwise, why would you be here? Right, I guess. Although there's a lot of haters who kind of hang out in the background. They're like, yeah, no, I hate that. Yeah, no, oh, I hate that. Oh, definitely hate that. That one's like the worst. You know? And they just like hang out and complain. I'm like, what kind of life do you have where you can just hang out in the back and complain? Like, if you don't like it, like, just go. Let me show you the door. But people are going to do what they're going to do, right? And so that's fine. I am grateful. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to have this channel here, the Dale Allen Rouse channel, rather than the Quilting Cowboy channel, because I can truly be myself, right? I mean, I don't know if you could tell, like, there was so little of me that I could actually talk about as the Quilting Cowboy. Although I have started featuring a quilt a week. This week we're featuring a quilt that's called Koi in the Moonlight. Very, very special work for me. It's considered to be an art quilt. So an art quilt is something that you'd hang on the wall as opposed to putting on a bed, right? And it's more image driven usually, like this one is. You can see the two koi. I had a lot of fun making this, right? And the rhythm of the patterning in the moon is really special to me. And that actually became a visual pattern that I repeat because I use music to take visual cues from, right? In order to transpose like that idea of a rhythm into a fabric idea, right? As you can see demonstrated here in the moon, right? So you get this reflection of the moon on the water and you have these two koi, but I was playing with perspective a little bit. Across the top, you can see that there's some lily pads. And so I was doing it so that you don't really know, based off of the way that the lily pads are placed, whether you're looking down into the water at the fish or if you're in the water looking at the fish that way, right? And so I was playing with perspective a little bit there and some anime imagery, you know, with the big dots, which are kind of supposed to represent, you know, like ripple, right? As a water droplet hits the surface, you know, those kinds of things. Anyways, I had a great time making this quilt. Again, if you want me to make you a quilt, I will. They're just very time consuming, therefore they are very expensive. I can't do one in under 3 weeks, so it's a minimum of $1,200 starting for custom work. But that is available if you want it. Anyhow, off topic, and we're back. Is back to the magic of what we have been doing in here, right? Because I'm grateful to be here as me, not as a caricature of me as the Quilting Cowboy. And I want to do a video maybe next week of what that experience was like for me as the Quilting Cowboy and my history with that, why I terminated that, that kind of stuff. But anyhow, that's for next week. This week, we're still doing magic. Yay! One of my favorite topics. And what we've covered so far is everything from manifesting to the future, right? And our relationship with that. Boundaries, setting boundaries, distractions, opportunity, and being able to see it to program our reticulated activator like we talked about, right? Blind spots, right? Why you need a coach, breakdowns. That was a really interesting video, breakdowns, that was recorded December 16th. If you have the opportunity to go back and see it, it's kind of interesting because every time I do shamanic practice work in here on video, you can actually see the energy. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but you can really see it, most especially in that video. Again, it's called Breakdowns, and it was created December 16th. What happens there is I'm actually doing a prayer with my prayer bowl, and I'm talking into the camera and whatever else like this, and then I start to do my shamanic work, and as soon as I put that on, right, and change into that vibration, I start to emit like this stream of like smoke or steam or whatever was coming out of my mouth like I was some kind of breathing dragon or something. It was so unexpected, and I didn't know that was happening until I watched the video back, and I'm like, are you seeing this? But it's not completely surprising to me, because there's other times too where I'm just kind of playing with energy, right? And I like will pop something off, and the lights will, it'll affect the lights and things like this. This stuff is real. Trust me, I don't get it, how it works, but it does. You don't have to understand how much is happening behind the veil of the curtain to which we are actually conscious of. There's a million things going on behind that curtain that you're not seeing or perceiving. So we've done some of this work, but oh my gosh, we are just getting revved up, honey, right? We are just getting going, because I'm here to create powerful people and give you tools to better your life, right? So that you can have clarity of the mind. One of the most powerful experiences that I've had in demonstrating this idea is I had a Reiki session with this woman. And I was really curious because, again, I go into this stuff thinking critically, right? I don't just accept, oh, that seems like good. Okay, yeah, like a lot of other people do. And I'm like, that feels right to you? So I so I approach everything critically in terms of how does what they're presenting align with my core values. So when I'm shown these things, or better yet, when I'm curious about these things, I can't explain to you the power of curiosity, but it will change your life if you remain curious, because that keeps you out of judgment, right? To find out more, to learn more, to understand first prior to fully assessing. So I had this Reiki session, and this girl, she shows up, and she's like all of like maybe 26, and she is, as have been described to me from someone who I trust, completely, as one of the most powerful Reiki healers that she's seen, and she's in that world, like she gets it. So this girl shows up, like I said, she's all of 26. I'm like, I was not expecting you. Gosh, aren't you cute? Right? And she's just this lovely, beautiful young woman. I was kind of expecting some old crone or something with, magic bag. So she shows up, and we do the session and everything. This is the thing, is like, there's certain Reiki practitioners that you can feel the Reiki, you can feel the energy kind of like doing things inside of you. And it's so, again, I don't understand how it works. It doesn't mean that it doesn't. So we did all of these things, and she was checking my chakras and everything else like this. So when she was done, she was doing a recap of her experience with me. And I had never told, anybody about my personal power stack of shamanism that I keep within myself, right? So our power stack in shamanism is a kind of a collection of deities and, that we put together as our power stack and hold within us, right? That we can call on at any time. The basic power stack is your power animal, right? Or spirit animal, your body protector, your gatekeeper, and your angel of neutrality. Those are the four that we work with the most. And we kind of stack them like a totem pole and hold them within ourselves, right? My gatekeeper comes to me, and I experience this being as a half man, half bird entity that, I know it sounds crazy, right? But I have a relationship with this entity, and I experience him. This deity happens to be male in feature, and the way that he, I just know when he's there. because I can feel him like just flying around. He's so fast, and he's just like he's right behind the veil, and I can just feel him there. And anyhow, our gatekeeper is the one who regulates things within us. Okay? And so like if you're super stressed or something like that, he would be the one that I would call on, right, in order to regulate that. So my gatekeeper, I don't have a name for him yet. He hasn't given me that yet. But anyhow, I had never told anybody about my experience or description of my personal gatekeeper. When she was done and we were talking and we were doing the recap about the Reiki session, she says, I was continuing to be in the presence of this half bird, half man entity from the upper world. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, he was just here, and he was kind of like helping, because he's the body regulator. It kind of makes sense why he would be there as she's regulating and checking my chakras and things like this. And again, I had never told her or anyone that is the description of my gatekeeper. So for her to be having a relationship with this entity who I'd never told her about, for her to just pull that out of the air, that seems a little too much of a coincidence. There was an experience that she was having with this entity in the same way that I experience him without ever knowing anything about it. And again, time and time and time again, I am put into these experiences with magical people who are doing things like this. And trust me, I don't get it. I can't explain it, but I can tell you what happens. The same when I had a session for a chakra cleaning with this woman. Oh my gosh, if you're at all interested in doing this, she's so powerful. Oh man, yeah. Anyways, her name's Cindy McKenzie, and she lives in Portland. I highly recommend, if you're at all interested in that, just message me. I'll send you her contact info. Oh my gosh, that session with her blew my mind, because I'm laying there on my bed here in Mountain Center, California, and she's in Portland, and we're doing this session over the phone, like not even on conference call, like just over old school phone, like she's not seeing me. And she's going through and cleaning up my chakras, making sure they're spinning the right way and doing all this other. And to be in the presence of a powerful medicine woman like that, right? And when they start to drum and rattle and shake and yip, right? And holler and cough and choke and have all these other experiences as she's, doing this over the phone on me, and I'm just constantly in that state of like, oh my gosh, it was so incredible. And when she was done, I was so messed up. I mean, messed up. Like, there was no way I could have driven a car. I was altered in a way significantly that I could barely function and walk. She had done so much on my throat chakra because I don't know why. And it's actually funny. So that session happened right before I lost my voice when I was talking about my career in porn. When I did that video, I don't have any voice. And it's because I had just done that chakra cleaning. And when she cleared out my throat chakra, I couldn't even eat dinner hardly that night. My throat was so tight and sore, quite frankly. I felt like I had just had surgery, and she was explaining to me how there was this dark, covered ick that she had to have her power animals that she's with and her guides through that clear away. And again, I can't explain it. It makes no sense logically, and yet there it is. So what do we do with that, right? Because these people are functioning on a different level often than we have seen or can currently understand. They're working through generational energy, right? It's like my New Earth group that goes through and we're cleaning up the energy left over from our ancestors. They left all this energetic garbage, right? Because they're not clearly the most healthy people, as we know. You know? And so to be in the presence of these magical people is life-changing. And again, I can't necessarily explain it, but I can tell you what has happened. And it's part of what we're doing here. So when we study these things, the energy behind what we're doing, the stuff behind the stuff that we can see, right? There is so much work there to be done. And whether it's, you know, my study with shamanism and getting into the psychopomp work of finding spirits that have crossed over but not fully and they're lost, right? To get into that kind of work to help spirits cross over, right? To work with the concept of time and that everything actually is happening all at once. Divination, chakra work, Reiki, like I explained, right? But then there's even more beyond that. When we're talking about accessing the causal plane, where you have the opportunity to, and this is, I use this a lot in my manifesting work, because I have been able to manifest almost, well, no, I'm going to change that. I have been able to manifest everything in my life that I've ever wanted. In my manifesting work, I tinker on the causal plane, which affects future outcomes. It's that level of energy work, right? Reaching up into and beyond, right? To reach into the causal plane, right? And put your finger on something to tinker just a little bit the future outcomes and change that for yourself. That's possible. What do you think? Do you believe me? I don't need you to. I just need you to watch and come along on the journey. Because that's what we're going to be dealing in, is all of this real magic. I mean, it's so amazing when you see people who have the ability to communicate with the plant spirits, right? And understand plant medicine and energy work that goes into it, because, oh my gosh, I know that there is a cure out there for my dystonia. I know that there is, and it's not in Western medicine. I've tried all of that. I've tried it all. And it's Western medicine that led me to having this chronic condition. Did you know that? Part of my issue was that I was on antidepressants. Antidepressants have the ability to flip the switch within you if you have a pre-programmed genetic marker for dystonia. Antidepressants can flip that. And then you have dystonia, and you can't get rid of dystonia. It's just, why didn't anybody check? You know? It's so infuriating. Anyhow, if they had checked to see whether I have the genetic marker for dystonia prior to giving me antidepressants, I wouldn't be in the problem that I'm in right now. But I am. So I know that there are solutions for me in that world with people who understand everything that's going on within me beyond just the physical. We need to start leaning into that and understanding that we are responsible for everything that is happening. Everything. We don't understand how powerful we are and how we cause every problem that we get ourselves into. I like the saying, the bad news is you're the problem. The good news is you're the solution. Right? So that's where we're going. That's where we're going. And I want you to be the most powerful version of you that you can achieve in this lifetime. And that's not hanging out with groups that hold a density that pushes you down, that tells you you're bad, right? It's in the other world that asks, what's true for you? Who are you? Right? And holds whatever that answer is in its hands and lifts that up. Because you are an expression of the divine. I will accept nothing less. I don't care who you are, right? You are an expression of the divine. So that's where we are. I just wanted to kind of pave the way a little bit for some of the magic, right? And talk about some of the energy work and where we're going, right? Because it's so exciting. I have shamanism school again tomorrow, which I'm super excited about. We're on the second class of death. We have to journey to see our own death, both in this lifetime and in others. We have to language to the universe how we want our death experience to go. Is that something that you've done or thought about? As I've talked about before, I certainly have a lot, right? But that's a story that's changing, ever evolving. Because those spirits that get lost here and don't fully cross over, they haven't done the bridge work, right? That's why they get lost. They have no expectations of what should be happening when they're crossing over, so then they don't know what to do, right? I don't want that to be my story. And trust me, I do not fear death. I mean, most of my life I've been wanting to die. You know, as someone who's been chronically suicidal for a large part of their life. But, you know, the work starts here, and I encourage you to find other teachers, other solutions, other institutions and classes where you can learn more about this. Again, it's so exciting for me to see into me see come to fruition. And other institutions like that, because it's becoming more and more mainstream. You know, all of us who are kind of like magical people, right? And just function on a different level a little bit, you know, to be able to have a room to share with others who are similar is amazing. So anyways, that's it for today. Thank you so much. I hope that you have a fabulous Friday. And don't forget to dance. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, go get it. Talk to you later. Bye.
Don't